Hey guys, welcome back to Producer's Corner. I'm Randy Younger, and today we're going to talk about mastering. Mastering is like the voodoo or black art, and there's some sort of weird wizardry that people imagine mastering is. And some people don't even know what it is, but they know that they need it. And so I get a lot of questions about mastering. And, it's kind of like, people are embarrassed sometimes that they don't really even understand what it is, but they know that they need it. Let me just say really quickly, mastering it's not that complicated as to what it is. It's complicated as to how it works. What it is it's going to take your music and it's going to make it rise up to a volume level that is commercially viable. It's also going to create a sonic space for that music to live in. And when you do an album, a CD, or a compilation, a body of work, you want every song in there to mesh with every other song in there. So mastering is going to bring all the levels up so that every song, when you go from song to song, it's not like, it's loud and then it's soft and then it's medium and then loud and soft and soft. Mastering is going to level it volumetrically so that it's in a good volume space. And it's going to do it in such a way that it is level with every other song out there that is using good mastering, because they're all referenced to 0 decibels or 0 dB signal level. And that 0 dB is what it is, and we know what that is. And so what's going to happen is, when you get your music mastered, it's going to bring it up to that level and it's going to make it commercially viable from a professional, volume level. 2, it's going to enhance the sonic presence of it. It's going to embellish certain sonic features of it. It's going to help transients. It's going to do, it's going to make your drums thump better. It's going to make your cymbals more crisp. It's going to make your breathiness in your vocals a little bit airier. And it's just going to create these sonic things that make it more pleasing or more musical to listen to. And so that's why we need mastering. And we also need it so that it balances song from song sonically, not just volumetrically. So sonically, you may have some that are kind of more mid-rangey and some that are sort of top-endy. And we need to bring those all into the same sonic listening space so that it makes sense to go from song to song to song. Plus, you want it to fit sonically with your genre when it's in another playlist. If somebody were to make a mixtape or a playlist and include your music in it, you want it to stand out. You don't surely want it to stand out for the wrong reason. You don't want it to go, wow, that was muddy and that was low volume, I couldn't hear it, So you're going to need to be mastered. Okay, how do you do it? Well, if you're recording your own music at home, chances are you don't know how to master. However, if you're doing it at home, or if you're a pro home studio, or if you're in a pro studio, you either know how to master and you have a mastering component to your studio, or you have a guy who's the mastering engineer that you go to, or you have a service, like I have a service, Lander. Okay, let me tell you, forget about, if you're trying to create music and you're trying to learn mixing and you're trying to learn producing, and you're trying to learn all these things, and mastering in and of itself is such a fine, meticulous, artistic thing, and unless you really feel called to do that, stay away from it. I've done it for years and I dread it. I dread it because that's not my calling. My calling is to produce music. But I understand good mastering and I need to be able to. So what I have done is I fired myself as my mastering engineer a few years back, and I was at the NAMM show, and I went out to outboard mastering houses, mastering professionals, and things like that on pro albums. But I met a guy, Justin Evans, I can't remember his last name. He founded Lander a couple of years ago. I met him at NAMM, and he was saying, hey, I'm going to give you Lander for free for a year, the pro service. Would you run some of your pro cuts through there, your unmastered cuts through there, and compare them. And I said, sure. And I was very skeptical. I thought, there's no way these algorithms and machine learning and all that, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. It's going to sound very sterile, antiseptic. I'm not going to like it. And I put them into the service. I got them back and I went, oh my gosh, they were so good. And the transient management was so good. And it was just so good. And I'm like, wow, I just can't even believe that. I thought maybe they cheated and had human beings on the other side. No, it is an algorithm-based service, but it also analyzes your music and determines what genre it belongs in and applies the best things for that genre to it. And it all happens in the magic black box over there, and it comes back within about 5 minutes. Now, I've mastered with pro records, and sometimes it takes 2 weeks, 3 weeks to get into somebody's queue. If you're going with a really top-notch guy and it's very pricey, and I might get 3 or 4 whacks, no, not that many, 3 whacks at making adjustments in the mastering with the guy. But, you know, when I can put that thing up and get it back in 5 minutes, guess what? I'm going to be using it in my daily workflow. And I do. When I'm getting close to final, I use LANDR to test all of my mixes. So it's really great. Let me just dive in real quick. I know you shut up and stop monologuing. Let me hear the difference. So let's go back here. And here I'm going to play for you a bit of a mastered and unmastered version of the same section of a song. So let's start with unmastered. Okay, now if you turned your volume up on your computer or phone or whatever, turn it back down. Not that much, but a little bit. You'll see why. Here's master. Okay, so what you're going to notice is that was a lot louder, but also you probably notice, wow, I'm listening to a lot more detail than I heard in the lower mix. So here's what. You did hear more detail, and the reason you heard more detail was not just because it was louder, because it was sweetened sonically to give it some clarity, to give it some airiness, some brilliance, and not sibilance, not bitiness, not 4 kilohertz ice picks in your ears. And so these are some of the differences that mastering brings to the table. Let me go back and A/B them real quick again, and then I'll talk to you about something else here. I'll just kind of do it measure at a time, back and forth, okay? Okay, so clearly that is significant. Oh, not that. Sorry. Boy, I'm messing up. Okay, go back to, no, I was on tracks. Okay, so let's look at the sonic levels here. You can see in the unmastered, it's not, it's significantly less signal level. In the mastered, it's a lot hotter. I usually leave 10 or 12 dB of headroom. So this very weak, I'd never release that. I mean, good grief. In fact, I can leave so much headroom now because even in my test mixes, when I have people listen to them, I just have them listen to them mastered. That way I don't have to worry so much about, well, this is the unmastered mix and I try to get it as loud as I could. Because if I do that and I don't use a limiter on there, then I'm going to end up, clipping or distorting or whatever, and I just, forget it. Leave the headroom and then drop it into Lander. So Lander, I may have mentioned this before, it's $300 a year. It's cheap. With it, you get a couple of really great features. One is you get the ability to, let me go up to the website, Lander website. You get the ability to not just get your songs mastered. In here you can see I've got, God, I don't even know how many. There's hundreds in here. Mastered. But you can also do digital releasing to your digital storefronts like iTunes and Spotify. And, well, Spotify is not a storefront, but you do get paid for streaming. And you can do that all from here. And so that it does, you can do that with CD Baby as well, whatever, or I don't remember what the other service is, but you can use those if you want. They're great, no problem. They'll do all your digital distribution for you and ISRC codes and all the stuff that you need to do to even ISBN, the stuff for the ISBN numbers and all that. But you can do that all in one stop shop here with Lander, so it's really a good thing. I have to admit, I haven't released anything for an indie artist through Lander yet. I think we're going to try that on the next record. We'll see how that goes out, and I'll report back on that. But if you don't have a CD Baby account, artist account, or any of that, you might as well just go ahead with Lander. Hey, even if you're a pro, give it a try. Give it a try. I honestly, I have given several of my professional friends this tip, and they have loved me for it because it saves them so much workflow, and it comes out top notch. It really does. And you know what? Some of the bigs like Warner and Pixar, they're using it. If they're using it, it must be economically viable and viable for making money as well. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. I really like Lander. If you're going to try to learn mastering on your own, God bless you. It is a tough deal. It took me a long, long time to get my arms around it. And I had to fire myself eventually. But I will tell you, if you go with a service like Lander, you won't be disappointed at all. So listen, if this helped you, please like, share, subscribe, comment, and any questions that you have for me, please feel free. I've been getting a lot of questions in Instagram from people. I've started a dialogue with a number of people, and that's what I'm here to do. I just want to help you guys with whatever knowledge that I have. I want to leave it for posterity and not just let it be this secret wizardry stuff that only certain people know. I guess it falls into the democratization of music philosophy, but everyone has the ability to do this now at their fingertips, but not everyone has the knowledge of how to do it. So again, like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Thanks, guys.